Because I did want to talk about It Dies Today. I just found out they reunited, and they have two new songs out. One is a new song, and the other one is a re-recording of an old song from one of the demos. You know what? Screw it. We'll talk metal for a little while. One second here. Let me just pull up the archives so I can kind of do some quick references. Actually, I don't think they're on the archives. It Dies Today. Oh, dear God, they actually are. I didn't realize they would be on here. Trustkill. That's another thing. Is Trustkill Records even still around? No, they closed up. I wonder when they closed up. I had a feeling Trustkill wasn't around anymore. Trustkill was a damn good label for, when it came to hardcore and metalcore stuff. Trustkill and Ferret. Those were the two that when you saw those, you saw the name or the logo, you're like, yeah, there's gonna be some metalcore here or some hardcore or whatever. I actually have a decent number of albums in the archives somewhere. I don't know where they are now. Like, I know where they are, I just don't know where within the mess that they are, where they are right now. And I couldn't even begin to tell you about all of them. A Life Once Lost, I know, is one band that I have a number of albums from that were on Ferret. But Trustkill, I have so many because that was just a solid hardcore and metalcore label that I guess was part of Universal Records at some point. But I don't know. But, yeah, back when I was doing FM radio and everything like that, they came out while I was still in college and I was going from a broadcast degree. So while I was doing college radio and I was the metal director there, this album came across the Master Inpile, the Cave Choir. And that album, I dug it. I didn't think it was the most amazing, but at the time with the boom of metalcore and everything, they definitely kind of stood out a little bit, given that they had more of a hardcore grittiness to them, despite some of the more melodic aspects and some of the hooks and everything like that. My Promise was a song I hear a lot of people talk about, but for the radio station, because I handled that as, initially it was a 2-hour block, but then it became a full day thing for me. I handled it more like an actual, okay, let's try and make this more, not radio friendly, but let's make it more like an actual radio program. Yes, we had our brutal death metal and black metal and whatnot that would play on there. But when it came to other stuff, like metalcore, yeah, I kind of went for, okay, what would be more energy driven, what's more upbeat, not upbeat, but catchy. There we go, that's the word I'm looking for, a simplified word. What are the more catchy tracks off certain albums? What would stick out? What would be something that if played on mainstream radio or MTV, what have you, what would probably stick out in a modern day Headbangers Ball, like that kind of stuff? And Severed Ties yield Severed Hands and The Radiance. These two, Severed Ties, I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised that one in general was not picked up by mainstream rock radio, modern rock radio. Because I feel like that song easily would have defined the band for a broader audience than just your standard metalcore bands. I can't remember. There's one band I'm trying to remember the name of, and I can't. I freaking love them. A screwed up hard drive up here, let me tell you. All That Remains, holy shit. But yeah, All That Remains at one point started getting more mainstream modern rock station appeal. And around the time of, not The Darkest Grave, but the one that came after it, I feel like It Dies Today, had this come out around that time, which I think it did. I don't remember when that album came out. I think it was a little later than 04. I do feel like The Radiance or Severed Ties would definitely have gotten a good amount of airplay on modern rock. And I feel like, honestly, this album should have made It Dies Today far more popular than actually was, than they actually were. And then there was Sirens. That came out, and it was just, I don't recall. Hold on, did they have a different vocalist? Oh, wrong label. Hold up. Cave Choir lineup, Nicholas Brooks, because it sounded like the vocalist changed. Lineup, Nicholas Brooks. Okay. No, so I guess they just kind of changed up how they were recording and doing the vocals, because it did kind of have less hardcore feel to it. The whole album did, really. There were only a couple of songs on Sirens that I felt kind of catered to what initially was It Dies Today, and I think it was Sacred Heart. It was Sacred Heart or 6th of June, one of the two, where it was definitely more hardcore influence. The vocals were a lot deeper, and a constant reminder that the screaming was more more strained, I guess I would say. It was a lot lighter, more strained. It didn't quite hit right. It was kind of more Avenged Sevenfold back in the metalcore days than anything the Cade of Choir had. And then you get a Port in Any Storm, and it's just, oh my god, you listen to that, and it's just, okay, this is light for the sake of being light. These are definitely radio friendly, but at the time, songs like that one, I feel like they kind of were treading away from what made them a good band. And I think that's probably just the way the label, maybe that was the way the label was pushing things, because they were seeing success with some of those songs. So they probably thought, hey, let's go more melodic. And yeah, I feel like the band started going downhill from there. I actually never got to hear Lividity. I think this dropped when I was done and moved on to the FM thing. I remember the artwork, but no, we didn't get it back at the college. I don't know. I kind of feel like the Sirens kind of sent them into a different direction, and it wasn't as well received as the Cade of Choir. They broke up at one point. Where was it? It was around, they broke up in 2010, reformed 2012, 2014. So I don't know what the hell was going on with these 2 years. I just know after, sometime after Lividity, they stopped doing stuff. But I wasn't aware they reformed in 2022 and put out a new song in 2023. And hearing it, it's like, okay, this is pretty good. It definitely feels more hardcore roots of the band. I can't say the demo because I never heard the demo or the Forever Scorned EP. I actually did look for that EP. I never did get it. But yeah, It Dies Today is one of those bands that I genuinely am surprised by that didn't get as big as they probably should have. And the thing is, I feel that was because of the shift towards more melodic metalcore type stuff and feeling more mainstream than anything. They were, if I remember correctly, they were still like a staple Trustkill band until they disbanded. It's just, it seems like Sirens is where they dropped off. Cade of Choir definitely had what it took. It was just maybe a year or two too early for it to really seep in and give them the attention that they deserved. Because it really was a damn good album. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough that I was able to see the blossoming, the birth of the whole metalcore genre. It Dies Today definitely should have been far bigger than they were. It's just the change, I think, is what really did them in. Like that subtle shift to more melodic harmonies in the singing, that deeper, dirtier shouting replaced more with like a grittier, almost sounding forced yelling. It just, Sirens was good, but it definitely didn't hold a candle to the Cade of Choir. I definitely check them out. They're, especially now that they're back, the new song they released, not the re-recording of one of the early demo songs. I didn't hear that one yet, but if the new song is any sign of the direction they're going in, it's not going to be as promising as the Cade of Choir. Sadly, I feel like the ship has sailed for the band, but if you're a fan of metalcore in general, they're definitely a good band to check out.